If you constantly find yourself stretching your hamstrings because you feel like they're tight, you might be chasing the wrong problem. In today's video, we're gonna cover whether or not your hamstrings are actually tight and what to do about them if they feel tight but maybe aren't tight. Stay tuned. Wow, what a big difference. In the first video, you saw my wife there, and you can clearly see her leg raise is a lot higher than what you see in the second video, which is my pitiful leg raise. So if you find yourself more like my wife, where when you lift your leg off the ground and you're up to 90, 100, maybe even 120 degrees, like some of you more flexible people out there, but you routinely find yourself feeling tight in your hamstring, which is typically what I find in the clinic, stay tuned for the next piece because we're going to talk about how you can address that. If you're more immobile like me and you have a lower leg raise, sometimes people do complain of hamstring tightness, but oftentimes I find that a lot of people don't feel tightness when they're less mobile. And in a different video series, we'll talk about what to do for that problem. So if you find yourself in that first scenario where maybe you are mobile and you have a 90-degree leg raise and we're still feeling tight and you've been stretching, let's pivot or shift gears and let's start talking about the reason why we might be feeling tight. Oftentimes what I find in the clinic is that when someone feels tight but they're actually flexible, which are two different things, we need to work on strengthening that muscle group, and in this case it would be the hamstrings. One of my favorite ways to do that is with the RDL or the Romanian Deadlift. That can be accomplished two different ways depending on what equipment you have. You can either use a barbell or you can use dumbbells. You're going to pick up the barbell in this case, and then we're going to use our hips and our hamstrings as we slowly lower the weight down, being respectful of driving our hips back and keeping our spine in a neutral or flat position, pulling up by bringing our hips forward, okay? This exercise right here, when done well, you should feel some tension in the hamstrings. That tension is gonna be the load. And if you do enough of the reps and sets and you're actually putting your weight back into the backside of your hips and into your hamstrings, you should find yourself somewhat sore the next day or two after doing this. If you're someone that's not doing RDLs or not feeling equipped to, it's totally okay to come in the office, maybe get a quick workshop on what a hip hinge looks like so you can actually put weight on your backside and train those tight and pesky hamstrings. If you're someone that is doing RDLs but finds that you're routinely feeling tight in your low back and you're not sore or hardly ever sore in your glutes or hamstrings, then we're missing something and we're not actually accessing our posterior chain. You'd be surprised how many people come into the clinic and say, I do deadlifts, but I only feel tight in my back or sore in my back afterwards. I never get any type of soreness in my hamstrings or in my glutes. Then you might be missing how we load our hamstrings and need some work there. So if you find yourself struggling with tight hamstrings, you're not training your hamstrings regularly, you'll find yourself very flexible like we demonstrated in this video, it might be time to call an audible and start using tools like this, along with some other things that we can address later. But start training your backside, start training your hamstrings, start training your glutes, and let's see if we can put some strength in those muscles, and you'll be surprised that oftentimes that tightness goes away.